gang, what's up? Just Ehren here, Question Period Canada. Not that long ago, we unfortunately got Greg Fergus as our House Speaker. He's a disaster. It was under exceptional circumstances that he came in to being elected, because he was elected by the other MPs, but the circumstances around that scandal and Anthony Rota having to resign, fall on his sword for the Liberal Party, well, that scandal's coming back. It seems like Greg Fergus was handpicked by Trudeau to introduce this new decorum into Parliament. It doesn't fit. He doesn't belong. He does a terrible job. We're going to show the clips of how much he interrupts and breaks up the flow of question period. It's terribly frustrating and just out of place. Let's take a look at Greg Fergus being House Speaker, saying too much. Sit down and shut up.
Before we continue with question period, for the second time, I'd like to remind members that all comments go through the chair. I remind the Honourable Minister that all members come through the chair as opposed to directly to another member of Parliament. L'honorable député de La Prairie.
The Conservatives, they want for-profit child care. This means...
So I hate to interrupt the Honourable Member. Sometimes, colleagues, sometimes we can clearly hear the question and sometimes we can't. This is one of the opportunities where the chair cannot hear the question. I ask all members please to keep your conversations private so I could hear the Honourable Member. Can the Honourable Member from Winnipeg Centre start her question again from the top?
In jail, now.
Yeah. I'm going to just ask for all members, please, to make sure that they listen to the question that's being answered. I know they're experienced members. The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, what we have on this...
The Honourable Government House Leader. Order. Order. The Honourable Government House Leader. Stephen. Order. Colleagues, it's in everyone's interest that the Speaker be able to hear the questions and the answers which are being put forward in the House. I ask members to please restrain themselves so that I can do so. The Honourable Government House Leader has 13 seconds left on the clock.
The Leader likes to...
There are several experienced members of this House who do know that their time to speak will be recognized by the Chair when they are supposed to speak. Otherwise, I ask you, please, to allow questions and to allow answers to be given so that the Speaker can hear it and so can anybody else who's participating here. The Honourable Member from Charleswood, St. James, Assiniboia, Headingley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And that was a shameful answer from that member, Mr.
To reduce
The Honourable Member, colleagues, I'm having difficulty hearing the Minister respond to the question. I'm going to ask him to start from the top. Please, can you please withhold your comments so that the Speaker can hear it? The Honourable Minister for Environment and Climate Change.
Thank you very much. That's the truth, Mr. Speaker. Let's speak the truth.
It's not even Wednesday and we seem to be all amped up.
That's the truth. Wait until summer.
The Honourable Member says, wait until summer. Truer words have never been spoken. The Honourable Member from Dauphin River, Swan River, Neepawa.
Here will continue to do...
Sorry to interrupt the Prime Minister and to all members. I'm going to ask members please to keep their comments to themselves until they have the microphone or have the floor so that they'll be able to ask their questions or answer their questions. The Honourable Prime Minister has 15 seconds on the clock.
Mr. Speaker.
Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Order. I know it's Wednesday. And members are very keen to hear the answer to this question, so I'll ask them to please restrain themselves while the Right Honourable Prime Minister answers the question. Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, you can tell it's Wednesday because this morning, the poll.
There. That's not so hard. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, he makes it too easy. For Loblaws! Down the list of all of his Loblaws lobbyists, Mr. Speaker.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. So I'd like to, colleagues, before you saw a hesitation in the previous round when the Speaker was a little confused as to who was going to be speaking next, as it turns out, we had deprived the Leader of the Opposition a question. I don't know if the Leader of the Opposition wants it now or would he like it in the next round? He'll take it right now. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, let's talk about the cold, hard facts.
I hate to interrupt the honourable member, and I don't know if it was picked up on the mics, but I did pick up some language which was unparliamentary, and I'll ask all members to please watch themselves. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker.
I really don't mean to play a dirty trick here, but this is a video that we made a little ways back all about the House Speaker and sit down and shut up. Like, it's been a while that Greg Fergus has really been a problem. I hope you like this video. I didn't mean to slip it in, but we're gonna slip it in. Hey everybody, what's up? Ehren here, Question Period Canada. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the role of the Speaker of the House, Greg Fergus, the current Speaker, who's disrupting everything as you're aware. That's why you're here. We're going to take a look at where Greg came from, how he came into the position, and what's been changing since he's been filling the role. It's been terrible. Let's take a peek. In Canada, it's the Speaker's responsibility to manage the House of Commons and supervise its staff. It's also the Speaker's duty to act as a liaison with the Senate and the Crown. They are to rule over the House and have the government answer questions during the question period, as well as keep decorum within the House. The Speaker of the House receives a salary of $275,000, $185,000 for being an MP, they are members of Parliament, they're elected, and another $90,000 for being the Speaker of the House for filling that role. Along with the extra cash, the Speaker has use of a small apartment in the House of Commons and an official residence, the farm, which is owned by the federal government. The duties of the House Speaker are managing the 2,000 employees of Parliament Hill, also the Parliamentary Protective Services and the RCMP. He oversees all of that. He has a budget of almost $500 million. That's a lot of money. Our current House Speaker is Greg Fergus, and he's a disaster. He seemed really great at first. He's nice looking, he's handsome, he's well spoken, but man oh man, this guy's weird. The House Speaker is elected by the members of Parliament. They vote for who they want to be the House Speaker, so Greg was elected. And so the MPs elected Greg Christophe Fergus to the position of House Speaker. He was an MP from the Hull-Almer area, still is, and he's been in that position since the 2015 federal election. Before that, he held portfolios as a parliamentary secretary. Before his election to Parliament, Fergus worked as a political staffer. So I didn't know what to think of Greg at first. He's strange, he's awkward, but it didn't take long to realize that he was trying to take control of the floor. Let's take a peek.
Chers collègues,
Dear colleagues,
c'est important que
please, it's important for one person to speak at a time, and that person is the one recognized by the Speaker. I will ask the Parliamentary Secretary to restart her answer from the top.
So that was only day one. It gets out of hand very quickly. It goes off the rails shortly thereafter. Let's take a peek at that, because it does go out of hand. He tries to give this speech. Here, it's awkward. It's weird.
As promised before the break week, the Speaker would like to make a statement about order and decorum in the House.
Après 8 ans de ce gouvernement, le taux d'inflation...
After 8 years with this government, inflation is the highest it's ever been in Quebec.
Even in this wide shot, you can see Andrew Scheer go and grab the rule book because he knows something's up. So it's time for question period to start, and Greg said that he's got this speech to deliver first, but it's time for question period, so Poiliev tries to start, but Greg interrupts him. You can see Andrew Scheer run up to grab the book of rules. He used to be the House Speaker as well.
The Honourable Member, you'll have an opportunity to start with oral questions once I just make this statement to the House. Question period will follow.
Watch this. Greg just
Question period.
turns him off. He plays with the button. See that? So it looks like the MPs just want to start question period. That's what they're supposed to do at this time of day, but Greg wants to give this speech. He's insisting on it. Playing with his button turns him back on. See that?
Jeremy? May I ask the Honourable Member, please, to take his seat for a moment while I consult with the table?
I bet Greg is a nice fella, but terrible to work with. Imagine what he's been doing to these guys. So awkward. So while he's consulting with his table, the Conservatives are consulting too. Andrew Scheer used to be the Speaker of the House. He knows the rules. He's consulting with Poiliev. He's just a weird person, everyone. Just weird.
The Speaker...
It's okay to be weird.
As to when to start question period. There will be a full question period that will follow after this declaration from the Speaker.
Not when you're House Speaker.
It's important for us to make this declaration.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it gets more interesting from here. Keep watching. How totalitarian is that? Speaking about himself in third person, Mr. Speaker can do this. Andrew Scheer is fed up. He puts in a point of order. Here it comes.
Point of order. The Honourable House Leader from the Opposition.
Just like to remind the Chair of Standing Order 5A, time for statements by members, oral questions, orders of the day. At 2 p.m. on Mondays, not later than 2:15 p.m., as the case may be, oral questions shall be taken up. Not may be taken up, shall be taken up. It's well past 2:15, Mr. Speaker.
So it's 2:15 and questions shall be taken up at 2:15. Let's see how Fergus reacts.
After consultation with the table, it is important for members to understand that we have dérogé de cette habitude de commencer.
That we have moved away from starting exactly on time.
Le président, la présidence va faire cette déclaration.
The Speaker will make a statement. It's not my intention to make this a habit. But according to the standing orders, I do have the opportunity of starting oral questions after my statement.
The Honourable Member from Regina.
Did you hear somebody heckle? Let the players play? But Greg is insisting on giving this speech. Andrew Scheer is trying to set him straight.
The Honourable Member from Regina.
The Speaker ought to know when rules are not followed, when there is a derogation from a rule, when that is pointed out to the Speaker then enforces the rules. These standing orders are the property of the House. It's up to the House to decide when we're not going to follow a rule or when we're going to change a rule. This is a standing order that the House has adopted. You are a servant of the House. You should follow the standing order.
So Andrew Scheer's a braver man than I am. He called Greg Fergus a servant, put him in his place. Let's see how Greg reacts.
I'd like to thank the honourable member from Regina Capel for pointing out the standing orders, and indeed he is correct. There are written standing orders. However, there is a long tradition in this House that the Speaker has the ability to making sure. Can I ask the honourable member to please allow me to finish as I have the floor at this time? I'll be happy to recognize the honourable member for a point of order. It is really important that we understand that the Speaker does have this ability to make a statement. We will have full oral questions at the end of this statement from the Speaker. It is an important message, which I think members would appreciate hearing, because it gives an indication as to how the Speaker is going to be proceeding in the months and years to follow. Colleagues,
As promised before the constituency week,
ordered the honourable member from Carleton.
Every day in this.
So is that what we're doing here, Greg Fergus? We're enforcing the rules by breaking the rules? That's weird. Really weird. Poilievre's had enough. You can see that he stood up there. He's coming back for more.
The honourable member from Carleton.
Every day in this House, the opposition has the occasion to respond to the actions of and hold the government accountable for its actions on behalf of Canadians. That happens at 2:15 every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That is not a may, that is not a possible, that is a shall. There is nothing in the clause that creates question period in the standing orders that allows the Speaker to arbitrarily change the time in order to give a speech. I will note that the Speaker has a plethora of occasions to stand on his feet and make any point he wants or any declaration he likes. He does not need to do it in the middle of the sacred period during which we hold the government to account. Now I see, no, if I'm Mr. Speaker, if I may, this is the first time in all of my years here that I have seen a Speaker interrupt question period to make a speech. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. And I furthermore, the fact that you've risen to your feet in order to impose apparently a series of guidelines that are not approved by the Board of the Internal Economy or voted on by the House of Commons, and that you're doing it in violation of one of the existing rules that is already in place, suggests a very serious and unusual departure from the normal way in which Parliament exists. The government is here to serve Parliament, not the other way around. We ask that you allow us to proceed with question period and you make your statement afterwards.
So Poilievre made some great points. He calmly told him that this is unseen and unheard of, like what Greg's doing. How do you think Fergus will react?
I'd like to thank the honourable member for Carleton for his intervention. I would like to inform the House, though, this is not the first time that the Speaker has interrupted the proceedings to make a statement from the chair between the point of SO31s and oral questions.
He goes on a ramble here. Stay with it, though.
Colleagues,
it's so long, it's so awkward.
This very clearly. My immediate predecessor, for example,
you have to watch.
Has done this at least on 2 occasions. It has also been done. It also has been done by speakers in the past. I'm going to continue with this statement. I think it's important for all members to understand
no one
this.
is listening.
I'd like to
No
reassure
one.
the member from Carleton and all members that there are going to be no new standing orders that would require the approval of you members. But we're talking about, I invite you to listen to this statement.
Imagine, he's lecturing
to listen to this statement in order to be able to improve order and decorum in this
he's
House.
a crackpot. He's a crackpot. Keep watching. So Greg says that he can break the rules because people before him have broken the rules. That's a weird thing for a new speaker to be saying. Anyhow, he's going to give this rousing speech. Let's, I guess, listen to some of that.
as promised before the constituency week,
Bear with us.
the chair would like to make a statement on order and decorum in the House.
It gets better,
In a
swear.
very simple way. Order and decorum are signs of respect for each other.
Hang on.
And for the institution. Respect, which is necessary for productive debate in a deliberative assembly.
He's just so weird. I know. Hang on.
It is, in fact, fundamental to Parliament's ability to fulfill its constitutional role.
I decided to stand for Speaker because in the 8 years that I've been a member,
oh my God,
prior to that as a keen follower of parliamentary proceedings, I've
he
noticed
keeps talking.
in the collective decorum in this place. It is
you can hear them not agreeing at all.
It is not inevitable. It is not a natural outgrowth of the advent of social media.
But he keeps talking. Stay tuned. It does get better.
I suspected other members
it comes back on him.
And during the many discussions that I held recently with members from all sides of the House,
he keeps talking.
I confirmed this feeling. Decorum and disorder
won't stop.
was the one issue that was most often mentioned to me in the one-on-one exchanges that I had, and not just in passing.
Oh my Lord,
Perhaps most importantly of all, members felt that bad behavior dishonors not only ourselves as elected members of Parliament, but also dishonors Canadian
Gotta be done soon. We'll post the speech in another video. We're not going to make you watch it here. It's 15 minutes. It's wild and crazy. It's about decorum, being nice to each other, doing unto others as done unto you. But that's not Canadian politics, guys. That's not it at all. It hasn't been the tradition. He's trying something different, and the effects in days to come were felt. Like, it's changing the flow of question period. He's disruptive. It's awful. It's led to things like this.
Before I have the Honourable Minister answer the question, I just want to remind all members it's important not to do indirectly what you can't do directly. As the Honourable Minister.
He's like this every 5 minutes, guys. Like, even less. Every 3 minutes, he's flipping out. Always.
Again, I ask all members, please, if you do not have the floor, to refrain from speaking so that we can hear the question and we can hear the answer. The Honourable Minister.
Sit down, shut up. Imagine somebody is going to have to say that to Greg Fergus.
Colleagues, before I pass on to the Parliamentary Secretary to answer the question, I'd like to remind all members, and out of profound respect to the position and the office of the Leader of the Opposition, I again want to remind all members to please take a look at the statement which I made regarding decorum in the House in terms of understanding what all members have to do in terms of their work.
So there's some clips of him just disrupting the flow of question period, telling everybody to be nice, be quiet, speak when spoken to. It's ridiculous. It's not the way Canadian politics is supposed to be. It's disruptive. And it leads to this. It finally manifests this way on Wednesday. They're fed up, everybody. They're getting rowdy. Somebody actually says, sit down and shut up. They yell it.
It is so
awkward
important.
And funny. He puts his hands down.
Order.
Sit down and shut up.
It is important.
It's
once
hysterical.
again,
So
to
weird.
not call in.
Sit down, speaker it up.
He just
Can I
keeps
ask
going.
Please. From Surrey to please, Surrey to please allow me to continue.
Decorum.
Colleagues, I ask all members to please exercise discretion. These are the things which you all raised with me and others in terms of improving the discretion. So, I'm going to ask the Honourable Leader of the... Colleagues.
It's weird, guys.
Colleagues. May I ask all colleagues, excuse me, colleagues.
Weird.
Colleagues. Colleagues. Temperatures are running hot. Temperatures are running hot today. If I could ask all members, please, to sit down. May I ask all members to respectfully sit down, please?
All members.
May I ask all members to respectfully sit down until I recognize them to speak? Please.
So weird. Just hand gestures. Oh, man.
Colleagues.
Come on.
Colleagues.
Come on. He's going to have to give in, right? He will.
Colleagues.
I hope. Come on, sit down.
The honourable member of the honourable leader of the opposition.
So how awkward was that? That went on for over a minute. Sit down and shut up. Imagine having somebody yell that at you 15 feet away when you're supposed to be the boss. Everybody's wound up in the house, all sides. Everybody's sour about him. And so we're going to wrap up the video. We'll catch you next time. That kind of makes for a very confusing ending, seeing a video from a couple of months ago and then doing this one now. But I am Ehren, and this is Question Period Canada. We're learning all about Canadian politics. That's an example. We've got a lot of fun things happening here. Like and subscribe, get notified, share it with somebody. We do the live commentary every day with the question periods. Tune into that, check it out. That's fun. And everything else is based around that. Have something healthy to eat today. Try to stay warm, and we'll catch you next video. Thanks a lot for watching. Greg Fergus is a problem, guys. Like Mr. Speaker, House Speaker, whatever. Like, he won't shut up. Decorum, comrades, what? This guy's not good for Canada.
Before we continue with question period, for the second time, I'd like to remind members that all comments go through the chair. I remind the Honourable Minister that all members come through the chair as opposed to directly to another member of Parliament. To interrupt the Honourable Member. Sometimes, colleagues, sometimes we can clearly hear the question and sometimes we can't. This is conversations private, so I could hear the Honourable Member. Can the Honourable Member from Winnipeg Centre start her question again from the top?
Mr. Speaker is a effing bum. Like, Greg Fergus has to go just like the rest of the Liberals. Like and subscribe. Canadian Politics, right here.